Welcome to Rooted Realities, where honest talk meets soulful insight. This podcast will guide you through life's ups and downs, offering clarity, courage, and a gentle reminder to give yourself grace. I'm your host, Christmas Miller, holistic health practitioner, life coach, and spiritual mentor. With each episode, I'll blend ancient wisdom with modern insight to inspire you to stay accountable and empowered. So if you're ready to grow from the inside out, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Christmas here, and welcome to Season 3. I'd like to first thank all of the new and returning listeners for tuning into the show. My hope this season is that these episodes bring you greater awareness, perspective, and support for your life's journey. So today's conversation is all about alignment. I'm sure some of you listening have heard this term before. It's used in spiritual conversations, personal development, coaching, and everyday life. And there's a good reason why. Because it points to something real. But I want to talk about it from a slightly different angle. Because alignment doesn't always look the way we expect. Most of the time, you don't recognize alignment until after you're on the other side of it. But while you're in the middle of the process, it can be hard to see. Believe it or not, alignment can look like delays, interruptions, and even pivots you didn't plan for. It can feel like challenges and roadblocks, hindering your progress despite the best laid plans. And that's the uncomfortable part of the alignment process. Because at the end of the day, what I believe most of us want is a guarantee. That's right, a guarantee. I mean, who wouldn't want a guarantee? What we want to know is that the decision we're about to make will work, that the timing is going to be right, and the door we're about to walk through is the right one. Most importantly, we want the outcome to confirm it all. But alignment doesn't always unfold the way we envision. Like I said, it is a process. And it asks you to listen, to discern, to participate, and make the most honest choice you can with what you know at the time. Sometimes clarity comes after you've taken the next few steps. Other times, you won't see the alignment until after realizing what the original plan would have cost you. So when the path starts bending, it doesn't automatically mean you're off course. Instead, take a moment to ask yourself, what actually needs your attention and what you need to adjust? It's always a good thing to check in with yourself and what you're doing, because delays aren't there to stop you. They're asking you to pause and assess the situation. Get honest with yourself about the why, the what, the when, and who's involved before you move forward. And this takes me to one of the biggest misunderstandings about alignment. The belief that if something is truly aligned, the path should be straight, a beeline, no need for the scenic route. The truth is, a straight path isn't proof that you're aligned, and a winding one doesn't mean you're lost. Sometimes an unplanned detour reveals something you would have missed if you kept going. And that changes how we understand alignment. So that brings me to an important part of this conversation. Alignment isn't something you simply wait for. It requires your active participation. Let me expand on that. There are two sides of alignment, passive and active. Passive alignment can look like patience, surrender, and even trust. Without discernment, it can become a way of waiting for a sign or for life to decide for you. Then it becomes easy to assume, that whatever shows up must be the answer, or whatever feels easiest. Surely that must be the path. And sometimes it's even more subtle than that. Discernment may be there, but we override it because we want that something so bad that we can't accept that whatever came along really ain't it. We want that door that presented itself to be the door we want. And we want that right on time timing to mean what we hoped it meant. That kind of assumed alignment can apply to anything we're emotionally invested in, whether it's an opportunity, a relationship, or the direction things appear to be going. But wanting it to be aligned doesn't make it true for you. That's why active alignment matters. It brings intention, awareness, and participation into the process. So what does that look like? It can be you making a decision that's long overdue, or having that necessary conversation with whoever you need to have it with, or choosing restraint instead of being pulled outside of your integrity. Here's the thing about true alignment. It doesn't remove your responsibility from the process. Instead, it invites you into it. And that participation won't always look perfect or the way you expect. But sometimes participation can get uncomfortable. A lot of people think being aligned means they'll always feel calm, clear, confident, and supported. Sometimes you do, but not always. Alignment can ask you to move while you're tired or adjust a plan you thought was settled. It can ask you to pause for a while when everything in you wants to push ahead. And it can also ask you to keep going, even when the outcome isn't fully visible yet. Those are all examples of still being in the process of aligning with what's true for you. Sometimes that truth comes through an interruption or a realization that it's time to stop forcing what doesn't fit. But remaining aligned doesn't mean controlling every part of the journey. It means staying honest with yourself as the process unfolds. And that kind of honesty asks something else very specific from us: to pay attention and to trust what we've discerned, even before every answer becomes clear. Participation doesn't begin once certainty arrives. It begins the moment we're willing to respond honestly to what we already know. And believe it or not, none of what I just said is new. Long before books on personal development or modern spirituality, people were asking how to live in greater harmony with themselves, with others, and with life itself. One example comes from the Akan people of West Africa through the concept of Sankofa. San meaning return, ko meaning go, and fa meaning look, seek, and take. Sankofa is often expressed through the idea that it isn't wrong to go back for what's at risk of being left behind, or simply go back and retrieve what you forgot. Wise words, if you ask me, because there's real value in looking back with the intention to learn, improve the present, and create a better future. Alignment moves us forward, but it also asks us to return, retrieve what experience has revealed, and carry that wisdom into what comes next. Intention is the key. Remember that. It's all about intention. Sure, we can learn from our own choices and experiences, and collectively, we can learn by observing what has happened before us and what continues happening around us. And that's what makes Sankofa so useful. Moving forward honestly requires us to return to a lesson we ignored or recognizing a pattern we've repeated long enough to know something ain't working. So the past isn't only a place to recover wisdom, it's also a place to recognize what we need to stop carrying forward. Sankofa is just one expression of a larger human pattern. Across cultures, including many indigenous traditions, wisdom has been preserved in a variety of different ways, through oral teachings, lived traditions, historical records, symbols, stories, and relationships with community and place. Different cultures, different beliefs, but sometimes similar principles. For example, pay attention, live truthfully, learn from experience, adjust when necessary, and stay in right relationship with what you know to be true. And guess what sits at the heart of all of this alignment between these cultures and beliefs? Discernment. That's right, discernment. Because without it, we can mistake comfort for truth, or movement for progress, or keep repeating yesterday while convincing ourselves we're creating tomorrow. Let that one simmer for a moment. Keep repeating yesterday while convincing ourselves we're creating tomorrow. Now, please, if you don't remember anything else I've said today in this episode, I want you to remember this. Don't ever abandon your discernment just because something is difficult. And don't call something aligned because you want it to be. Always be honest with yourself and see things as they are, not only how you want them to be. When something feels off or just plain wrong, pay attention to that. Pause. Assess it instead of explaining away what you're seeing and feeling. That's the real work right there. It won't always be perfect. It's not meant to be, but it is a process. And that process begins and ends with being honest with yourself and your intentions before anything or anybody else. Alignment isn't about finding the perfect path. It's about honestly participating with what's being revealed as the path unfolds. Thank you for listening to Rooted Realities. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps others find the show. Your support is greatly appreciated. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook for more updates and new content. Until next time, stay rooted and keep growing.